Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the 10th edition of Random Ramblings with Randomonium. I am your host, Randomonium, and today I'm going to be playing support again because we're going to be doing some tryouts for the team, and we'll be trying out a new jungler in Your Cutie and a new mid laner in Akon the Kid. But something I really want to talk about is this is the 10th one that I'm doing today. So I'm really excited. I feel like I've improved a lot in the past couple months with my streaming, and I'm going to continue trying to improve, continue trying to give you guys the best product I can possibly give. And so I first started on working with improving my sound quality, improving my video quality, and with this video I'm actually going to work on trying to make things more efficient, because I understand that sometimes my casts go for an hour in length, and that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time for somebody to sit down and just watch a stream. So today I'm going to try and fast forward whenever there is a little bit of a pause in the action, to hopefully cut down the length of the video so you guys can get the most bang for your buck. And the other thing that I really want to talk about is we are still recruiting. This is one of our recruitment videos that we have, where I'm going to show off some of the guys who are trying out for our team. But yeah, we are still definitely looking for new players. We really are looking for a top laner, and also more junglers. Yeah, we got Cutie, but we're always looking for more junglers. But we're looking for anybody for any position, but top laners and junglers especially. So if you're interested, I'm going to post a link to our thread in the comment section of this video, and definitely just post your information, and I will contact you. I'll play some games with you. I'll try and comment on your play and figure out what's good and what's bad, and whether or not we can get you on the team. So for our matchups today, we have Irelia in the top lane. This is actually our normal support. She's going to be playing a top laner for us today. And then we have Gragas in the jungle. And we've got Cassiopeia mid. And then our bot lane duo is going to be Kalista Thresh. And we're going up against Nasus in the top lane, Skarner in the jungle, Ezreal in mid, and Graves and Nami as their bot lane duo. So, pretty standard opening. This Graves Nami lane is really freaking annoying. They've got a lot of sustain and a good amount of damage, so we're having a lot of trouble with it. But our jungler is going to come up here, and he's going to ward. So he's going to do this invade. So let's talk about this invade, right? Invading is a good idea, especially if you think that we're pretty sure that Skarner started blue side. So doing this invade to red side, definitely a good idea. But it was poorly executed for a couple of reasons. So the first one is his jungle route. He went Gromp, blue, Scuttle Crab, then red. So that makes him only level 2. So to be more efficient with this, you either need to go Gromp blue, then to their red, or you need to go Gromp blue wolves and then to their red. Because if you kill the wolves, you'll be level 3. So I personally think the best option is to go Gromp blue and then go for their red. That'll get you there quicker. So if Skarner's doing, clearing the whole camp, you'll kill this red before he even gets here. The second thing is that his ward placement, right? This ward, where it is right now, if you're trying to steal their red, doesn't do anything for you, doesn't give you any information. The ward should be either here, if you think that he recalled and that he's going to be coming back this way to clear out red side jungle, or if you think that he is clearing all the way through from blue side, you should be putting the ward here. So that way you can spot him coming in advance and then back off. But in reality, because he was so late to this red, there's no real point to stealing the red. You should just wait, because Skarner is either going to show up at that red very shortly, or he's going to show himself in a lane for a gank. So you just wait for him to either show up at red or show himself in a lane. And if he decides to show himself in lane, then you can just steal his red and you know that he can't possibly come and get you. And if he shows up at red, then you just wait for him to get close to killing the red, and then you can steal the red and kill him. So if that's your plan, then this ward placement is good. You put the ward there, and then you just come over to this bush, and you just wait. So that would be the best play there. But you can see what happens. He starts the red, and Skarner's level 3. Yeah, he's got low health, but he's level 3, and that's a huge advantage for Skarner in this fight. So Skarner knows that his red's getting stolen, and he's playing it very well. He engages. Once Gragas gets really low health, that's when he engages, and he's got the level advantage, which allows him to get the kill. So the reason why he got that kill is because he waited until Gragas was low health, and because he had a level advantage, he was able to get the kill. Alright, so moving down to bot lane. We're getting pushed in a little bit, and we're pretty sizably behind in CS right now. They're doing a very good job kind of bullying us, and then Nami with her sustain is keeping Graves at pretty high health. But I'm able to land a good hook onto Nami, get this Flay combo, and we end up giving up a kill. So let's rewind this and slow it down real quick so we can just see exactly what happened and what went wrong. So I land the hook. When we come in, so I should be throwing down my lantern right now. But I throw it down a little bit late, and it doesn't really assist her that much. And then Kalista actually never uses her rend. So if she actually used her rend a little bit sooner, she would have gotten the kill. And then also Kalista didn't use heal. So the heal and the rend definitely would have ensured that we got the kill at least. And then if my lantern placement was a little bit better, I could have backed off and she could have used the lantern to escape, possibly. But we most likely would have wound up with a 1-for-1 scenario in that case. They did a good job focusing Kalista. So this puts us in a kind of precarious spot because Thresh is not exactly great at wave clearing, but I'm going to do my best to try and get a couple CS and make sure they don't get any tower damage on us. And then the other thing is that because of that failed gank, or that failed invade, Gragas is kind of behind now. He was level 3, Skarner's level 4, and yeah. So he's kind of going to be set back. He needs to focus a lot on farm now, just to regain his levels. But he's going to come here to mid for a gank. So he immediately shows himself, and that's kind of a little bit of a mistake. Like if we back up here, don't be afraid to just wait a couple seconds for a gank. And then Cassiopeia can try and bait this and try and get Ezreal to move a little bit forward, because if he moves just a little bit forward, that gank would have been so much more successful. Once again, our top laner is doing a great job keeping Nasus from getting too many stacks. That's all you can really do with Nasus, is just try to slow him down. Alright, so I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna ward, get a pink up, and so I can clear this their ward. And that's gonna set Gragas up for a gank here. But Nami's actually being really aggressive right now. That was a great dodge by Kalista. And I'm able to land the hook onto Nami, get the Flay combo, Gragas comes in, and we're able to get the kill. So that was great. As a jungler, especially kind of like a tanky jungler like a Gragas, you really don't need the kills. You want to try and get those kills onto Kalista, just so she can just snowball the lane a lot. So that was definitely a really well executed gank, well executed play. But yeah, always try to get your kills onto your AD carry, your mid laner, even your top laner. You want to get kills on them so they can snowball the lane. That was a good punish by Callista. Here, I'm going to back up because actually Cassiopeia does a really good play here. So that ward right there is fantastic. I know it's just a ward, but that's a fantastic placement for that ward because Skarner just ganked top lane. So that ward saved her life right there. And that's what you have to do if you're like a mid laner especially, is you have to anticipate where their jungler is going to go. If they have a failed gank in top lane, most often than not, he's going to try and gank mid, right? He's looking to try and get that impactful gank. And if he fails top lane, he's going to go mid lane. So this is, I love this kind of ward placement in bot lane. You get a pink and tri-bush, you got a ward here, Skull Crab controls an added bonus. There's no way that they can gank us. As long as we make sure that the lane doesn't push too hard. So we don't want to push the lane, but we don't want them to push the lane either. There's no way that they're ever going to be able to clear out this pink ward, and we're always going to have very good vision. So when Skarner comes down, we have excellent vision of it, we can immediately back off, and that's just wasted time for Skarner. So he falls behind because of that. So I'm looking to get a good hook. That really pissed me off right there. That hook, that was a perfectly timed dash by him. That was actually a really good play, but if we had landed that hook, that would have been a kill right there. So we're continuing to try and trade. We've kind of equalized the lane a little bit. Yeah, we're still at a CS advantage, but we're not too far behind in gold. Almost landing the hook again on Graves. This is a good trade by Callista, but we're losing it, so we're backing out. And then this is definitely a miscommunication on our part. Mainly my part, actually. That's my fault. Callista comes in, and her goal is to just save me. So she can ult me up, I can shoot out back here, I can throw a lantern, and then she can shoot out, and it's a fantastic disengage mechanism. The Callista Thresh is like near impossible to kill them if they execute their disengage effectively. But that was definitely a stupid play on my part. I had to burn my flash, and we burn our heal, but we are able to escape. Alright, so Skarner and Gragas ran into each other, and actually our mid laner rotates faster than their Ezreal, so that forces the flash by Skarner. So that was a great play. So that's why you need to keep eyes on the minimap, keep eyes on your team, so that you can rotate for them. And then Gragas comes up here to help our top laner, and gets a really good gank off. And yet again, unless you are going to lose him, unless you're going to not get the kill, don't go for the killing blow as a jungler, especially as a tank jungler, because if you get that kill onto Irelia, she's going to start to snowball that lane against that Nasus. So, because she only gets the assist, she only gets like half the gold. So, that little bit of gold is really helpful for those laners. But yeah, that was a great decision by him to head top right after that little contestment with Skarner, because he knows that Skarner can't rotate there. So Skarner comes in, get this gank on Cassiopeia, and uses his ult. And that was very good by Cassiopeia to do that flash into her ult, and that at least gives her a chance at surviving, right? And then this dodge is also great. And now they're in this precarious situation where do they try and dive this low health Cassiopeia or not? And Gragas is coming in. Great rotation by Gragas back to mid. This is a great explosive cast. It almost knocks Ezreal back into tower range, which is what you're going for. Anytime you can get that explosive cast off and knock into tower range, then that's a huge victory. So, good job. So, this is a little bit incorrect. So he uses barrel and he uses smite at the exact same time. And so the way that slows work in League is they do it multiplicatively rather than additively. So using multiple slows has diminishing returns at the same time. So you want to chain your slows together, not use all your slows at the same time. So you should have used his barrel, waited a couple seconds till the slow from the barrel wore off, then use his smite after that, and then you get a longer slow period. But I'm rotating up, so the whole point here is just to keep them engaged until I get up here and make it a 3v2. So you can see, even though Cassiopeia is low health, she's still like posturing to try and get them to engage on her. I come in, just barely miss a hook. And I start to back off because I don't think there's any way that Gragas is going to catch him. But he almost does. So, overall, very good play. Just some minor corrections, like not using your barrel and your smite at the exact same time. Try to space them out by a couple seconds. So I'm kind of in a bad spot, having this little fight over the pink ward. Supports get very attached to their pink wards, they don't want them to get killed. Alright, I'm going to fast forward a little bit because we're in a little bit of a lull. But they're getting some good damage on this tower. We clear out the ward again. So I've been kind of ignoring our top laner a little bit, but she's been doing a very good job, right? She's being nasty by 20 CS right now. Very good job so far by her. But this is a mistake, right? Skarner's sitting in a bush with a ward, and she's not reacting to it. I mean, she's level 9, and Skarner's level 7. She could have just rotated back down and killed him, but now she's in a 2v1, and this is just a really difficult spot for her to escape in. She burnt her flash, but yeah, this is a tough situation. Not going to be able to survive it. So if you use rewards, you got to make sure you have that map awareness, because she could have easily killed Skarner in that case. If she had noticed that he was there, she could have just popped back down here, and yeah, she had a 2-level advantage. She could have won that fight easily. So I'm going to back up because we actually had a good gank in our bot lane as well. Alright, so Gragas is coming down for the gank, so I land the hook on Nami, go offensive. Kalista uses her ult on me, and we're able to get the kill. Alright, so now we're in a really precarious position because we've got a low health Kalista, low health Thresh, and a full health Graves. So ideally what we want to do in this situation, we got Gragas coming down, he's just going to screen for us to make sure that Graves can't kill us. And the best way he can do that is just to ult right now, knock Gragas back, and then we can escape. But he doesn't do that, so he flashes forward to try and get the kill on us. And Gragas does the next best thing, which is to do the body slam to just get him stunned. So what I should do at this point is I should throw out my lantern and I should just leave to try and get it so the Kalista can pull my lantern and we can get out. But I'm a little bit late on the lantern and Kalista dies, and then I try my best to try and keep him away from me until Gragas can get the kill, but he's able to get it. So that ult was just way too late. He should have been using that ult much earlier to try and save either Kalista or Thresh. The fact that he ults after we're both dead doesn't really help us that much. But this is a good play. Flash, body slam, gets the kill. That's a good recovery at least. We go for a 2 for 2, but we end up giving some more kills to Graves, which is not good because he's already doing a really good job. Alright, so we're in another lull, so we're going to fast forward a little bit. Look, we're kind of in a, basically, you know, just clearing out lanes. Greg does a good job pushing bot lane out. Alright. So, right now, Graves is the most fed person on their team, right? He's 3-1. He's got a lot of gold. So it's BF Sword, Zerker Greaves, and a pickaxe. Compared to our BF Sword and Vamp Scepter. So he's got a huge advantage at this point. So Nami moves up to get some wards down, and we kind of miscommunicate this. And Kalista's like, oh, let's go in. But she doesn't really tell me that. So she goes aggressive on Graves. And you can see the Graves is just winning the trade really easily. And I'm not in any position to assist her. So I'm doing my best to try and disengage. So she ults me. I do my best to try and save her. I probably should have ulted back that way and then used the lantern trick again to save her. But I don't even think that would have worked because Grave uses collateral damage. So I'm forced to flash again. So ideally, alright, how do we fix this? How do we get a better play here? So when Nami moves up, Kalista should be hopping a little bit closer to Graves, and then she should just ult me. And then I ult into Graves and do my combo with Flay, Box, Hook, and we could kill Graves before Nami can even rotate back. So right about here, she ults me, hops forward, I ult in, and we can kill Graves before Nami can even rotate back. But, so that's just a minor mistake. I think that's just a communication issue because I usually don't play support, and he's actually normally our mid laner, so we're not playing our normal roles, and our communication is not as good as our normal ADC and support. Alright, back up. So Skarner had success before with going top lane, and actually our Aurelia is doing a really good job, so it makes sense that they're going to want to try and gank top lane because they need Nasus to get stacks, right? Use one of their win conditions. Very good engage by Aurelia onto Nasus, but no ward coverage, which allows Skarner to get a pretty easy gank on her. That was fantastic, right? She used her dash to get back to a minion. That gives her a chance to escape here. So they get the stun on her. Doing her best job to try and get away. They take some tower shots, but she ends up dying. So that's just lack of ward coverage, right? Never want to go all in on somebody unless you got ward coverage. But Graves comes up to try to get some work in, but not able to get an assist or a kill. Alright. Fast forward a little bit. As we're in another little bit of a lull. I like the fact that Greg is pushing out these lanes, trying to get a little tower damage. And then of course, always try to give your mid laner blue buff, especially if it's a Cassiopeia. So, Graves can come up here, He's gonna gank top lane. So this is good. I like this. How he comes in here, gets the max range body slam off. Alright. So common mistakes with tower diving. Whoever takes the aggro can't get too deep into the turret. Alright? You're going to have to sacrifice some of your damage and just stay at the edge of the turret range. You don't want to go out of turret range, but you want to just stay at the edge of turret range. And you take as many turret shots as you can while your full health ally kills the person. And then they can get out safely as well. But because he gets too close, there's no way that he can escape now. That was a great barrel, but it was a little bit late. If he had thrown that barrel actually before Nasus got to turret range, then that would have been an easy kill, and they wouldn't have even needed to go into tower range because of it. So we're able to get the kill, but it was just a little bit misplayed, right? If he come in, body slam, and then Nasus tries to run, and then he ulted to knock him back out of tower range, that would have been an easy kill. Or conversely, if that doesn't happen, let's say, you know, Gragas' ult is on cooldown or whatever, then Gragas needs to stay near the edge of this tower range. And he wants to take the tower shots, take as many tower shots as he can, and give Irelia as much time as he can for her to work and get the kill. But he doesn't want to be like this close to the tower, because there's no way to escape once you're this close to the tower. So we'll back up here. They start dragging, but they're not going to be able to get it. Actually, I'm going to back up a little bit further. Alright, so they're posturing for dragging, right? There's not much we can really do to stop them at this point, because our jungler is top lane. But Cassiopeia should not be playing this far forward when you know that they're at dragon, because they can do a pretty easy rotation. Yeah, she's got a pink ward here, but she's on the wrong side. Like, she should be on this side of the lane if she wants to try and harass him, or she needs to be further back. You can't be this far up on the side that their entire team is on. So Skarner comes up, and he's able to get his ult off. And that's a pretty easy engage for them. I landed a pretty good hook onto Ezreal, and Kalista pulled me to safety, and I have no idea why I went back in. Like, that's just a horrible decision on my part. Maybe I was just feeling suicidal or something, but it's obvious that we're not going to win this fight. It's a 4v3, Cassiopeia is in full retreat. You know, Kalista pulled me to safety, but I was just determined to get myself killed. So definitely a wrong play on my part to do that. And yep, I'm going to wind up paying for it. But yeah, good job actually by Cassiopeia to escape. So now we're in kind of a precarious situation, because they're going to 4-man mid lane. So Graves does this little sneaky play where he comes around, and he dashes forward, and he's able to get a kill. That's actually a really good play by him. And that puts even more pressure on us, because now we only have one person to try and clear out the minions. So in this type of situation, Nasus is dead. Irelia's top lane, so she just wants to hard push this tower, because there's no way. If they get this tower right, we want to try and at least trade a tower for them. Yeah, it's a top tower, and mid tower is much more important, but there's no way that Irelia can rotate to help in time. So her best bet is just to push this tower as hard as she can. But Kliss is actually doing a good job trading, a good job clearing out the waves. So she gets hit with the bubble. It's actually pretty good by Nami. Their ult followed up by the bubble. And this good job by Kalista, just trying to jump away, delay as much as possible. And even though she dies, she does trade for a 1-for-1. And actually, she almost gets a second kill on Ezreal because he gets too close to the turret. Now we're kind of in a bind with this mid tower. Get Gragas coming up. And that's actually a good play by him to just push forward. They're both pretty low health. They have to respect the fact that Gragas can clear with his barrel pretty easily, and then they'll take a lot of tower shots. So we know that Ezreal and Nami were low, and Skarner was dead, and we know that Nasus has his TP down. So we're gonna go for a quick dragon, because we know they can't rotate fast enough to contest. So Graves comes down to try and stop us, or at least delay us as much as possible. So we land a good Gragas ult, followed by my hook, and actually a little bit of miscommunication because Gragas goes to body slam in after the ult and misses. So Graves burns his heal. Alright. So Dragon's at 355 health. So this is like any person's game on who's going to get the dragon kill. But thankfully Gragas has a good awareness and is able to get that dragon kill. Now it's a pretty easy fight for us. So what I could have done here actually is I could have thrown my lantern over the wall and just pulled Callista in, but she winds up flashing over to assist us. Alright, and then another mistake that we could have done here is at this point right here, Callista could have pulled me in with her ult, but she doesn't and I end up dying. But overall, it was actually a really good trade, right? We punished the fact that Graves tried to delay us and he didn't have any backup. And then Skarner kind of foolishly came in to try and fight us in a 4v2 scenario, and he ended up dying as well. And now we're going to punish this Nami, who is still caught out of position. So yeah, she flashes over the wall, but Gragas has got his body slam. So actually, it would have been better if Gragas did body slam flash. It would have been better actually if he did flash body slam, because then he could have gotten the stun. But he ends up getting the kill anyway, so good on him. And this is good. To back out, good job avoiding the ult by Gragas. He body slams away. And good disengage. So yeah, so that team fight almost equalized our disadvantage, right? We were pretty far behind, and we're still behind, but we've almost caught up with them. So we're 17 minutes in, we've been playing behind for 17 minutes, but we're almost caught up. We'll fast forward a little bit, get a little bit of trading going on. We have to be pretty careful because this tower's down. Right's gonna come up here, get some wards down. That's good. Get some wards down, help protect Irelia. She's doing a really good job right now. Alright, so Gragas is mid. And they're doing a 3-man push mid. But we've got 4 people. So Gragas comes in, and while this ult is good, it does knock Ezreal back. If he had aimed it here instead, he would have knocked Ezreal back towards that side, and he would have knocked Graves really far forward. And we probably could have got the kill on Graves right off the bat. So I liked the engage, but I think that he could have used his ult better by going after Graves rather than Ezreal. But he landed into the body slam, and I almost landed the hook, but Ezreal used his arcane shift to get out. This is good. We want to try and engage on this because Irelia is rotating down, so we definitely can have a numbers advantage here. But they do a good job disengaging. So they're going to 4-man mid, which is fine. We can contest that. Typically, if you have a pretty good wave clear, you don't need to have equal numbers to defend a tower. You usually need like one less. So the fact that we have a Cassiopeia here, and she can keep wave clearing, the tower's not going to take too much damage. And as long as she's got some support, like from me and Gragas, they can't really dive her. It's a pretty high risk play for them to try and dive her. So that allows Kalista to kind of push out the lane a little bit and push an objective of our own. So you can see that they can't really tower dive Cassiopeia. So they kind of back off, and they look like they're going to make a move of play. They realize the Kalista is pushing out, so they have to rotate to stop it. So we have a fight over red buff here, but they're actually really caught out, right? We got Skarner and Nami, and they're in our jungle, and we have 4 of our team that are all closer to them than any of their team. Ezreal's way up here, Graves is way down here, so it's pretty much a 4v2. So this is good engage by Gragas, so you do the body slam in. Just barely missed my hook. So this is a great play, right? Kalista comes in, she ults me, I ult in, land my box, so I moved a little bit forward and then did my box to make sure that I could get them both inside of it. And then the Flay, able to get the first kill. Able to get a second kill. And Kalista, we have Cassiopeia die a little bit, but I landed the hook onto Graves. Gragas misses his body slam, but that's not a huge problem. Land the Flay, able to get another kill. And now that's going to allow us to get a lot of pressure on this bottom tower, right? So we punish the fact that they tried to invade our jungle. Now we're going to take a tower because of it. So good job by our team. Alright, so Ezreal's going to try and trade objectives, right? He's going to push mid as hard as he can. Since we just took the bot tower. And that's actually a smart play by him, but we're going to collapse on him. So Ezreal takes the tower shot because he started attacking me. And Graves can come in with this body slam. Lands a really great ult to knock Ezreal back into turret range. But Ezreal does a great arcane shift over the wall to avoid my hook. So that actually was like we played that really well, but that was just a really good play by him. We're gonna continue to try and get him. I back off because I don't think there's any way that we're gonna catch this Ezreal. But Gragas does catch him, lands the body slam, gets the slow. So I flash in just to make sure we can guarantee this kill. And you see how I backed off, right? I could have kept it auto-attacking Ezreal and gotten a kill for myself, but I'm really the lowest priority for kills as a support. You know, your priorities are you want to get the mid and the ADC the kills. Then the next priority is to get the top laner the kills, and then the jungler, then the support. So I'm always going to back off, try and make sure that my jungler or the rest of my team can get the kills, because I don't need them. So we see the Nasus is coming over. We saw some wards here, so we know the Nasus is around here somewhere, so we're going to collapse on him. So actually, little misplay by our jungler. He should have come back around this side because obviously Nasus is going to run away that way. So Aurelia does a good job punishing him. And he's got to back off. However, this whole time, so Nasus is down here. We all rotated into this blue side jungle to try and get this kill on Nasus, and they did a really good job just coming back and just pushing our tier 2 tower. So we definitely kind of overcommitted to that, and we're going to lose a tower because of it. So definitely a little bit of a misplay on our part. Skarner's gonna try and gank top again, but because we have great ward coverage, right? I really can back out, not in danger of dying. This dragon's up in 15 seconds. Now the next question becomes dragon. Cassiopeia has to burn her flash to avoid getting caught in Nami's bubble, but she gets some good damage back onto Nami. Alright, so we have teleport advantage. That's really crucial for dragon fights. Nasus just uses teleport. Aurelia has her teleport available. So we're going to try and force this fight. We're going to try and push them out. We can take this dragon. Because if Nasus tries to rotate down to assist, then Aurelia can push this tower and take the tower. And then on top of that, she can still teleport in to help the team fight if we need her to. So that's why teleport advantage is so important with objectives. So we try to bait them a little bit, get some damage off, and they realize they can't really contest it. At least, so a smart team would realize that they can't contest this. But I think they're getting a little bit greedy. They're actually, going to try and fight this. You can see that Aurelia, even though she has TP, she's already going to start rotating down. Because there's no way that Nasus can push all the way down to this tower that quickly. So they come in, they try to contest the dragon. This is a good engage onto Skarner. I missed my hook, but it does draw the flash from Skarner. And now, not only is this going to become a 5v4 very shortly, but Graves is actually really out of position. So it's actually a 4v3 for us right now. So you see Graves is getting like completely zoned out. There's not much he can do to assist in this team fight. So I'm going to be zoning away this Nami and this Skarner so that Kalista can get as many Ren stacks up on a dragon as she can. There's no way that they can really smite steal it. So we get the dragon pretty easily. So after the dragon's taken, there's no reason to fight. Unless like we're really low health and they think they can get the kills on us, there's no reason to fight this. So this ult by Nami is just, if you want to try and ult us and fight, you want to ult before the dragon gets slain. Because you want the dragon to be attacking us while we're fighting you. So I missed my box. I thought I was going to catch Skarner. I saw Aurelia coming in. And I was like, oh man, if I get that slow on Skarner, he's dead right now. So waste my box, unfortunately. And just barely missed a hook. So Kalista, Cassiopeia, and Gragas are going in on Graves, which is a smart call. And then Aurelia and I are going to try and get some kills off on these low health allies. So Aurelia gets a fantastic kill. I actually see the rest of the team rotating, so I'm going to rotate with them. So missed ult by Gragas. Here, I'll speed it up just a tiny bit to get to the action. This is a great body slam by Gragas, and then also the use of the Callista ult. So basically, we cut off any retreat path he has. So I'm gonna back it up because I wasn't able to focus on what Irelia was doing. She was doing some fantastic work as well. So she gets a kill on Nami. Even though she gets slowed, she's just waiting for her dash to come off a cooldown. Gets a stun on Ezreal. Pops her ult. Even though Skarner uses his ult on her, he's still able to flash and get the kill onto Ezreal. And now this is always a precarious situation when you're in Irelia. If she's lower health than you, she is very difficult to kill. So she gets a stun on the Skarner. And before Skarner can even come out of the stun, she kills him. So Irelia gets 3 kills just by herself on that. And that team fight put us ahead, right? Even though they've got the tower advantage, we're in the lead right now. So because that team fight was so long, it actually did give Nasus enough time to push down and take that tier 2. It was kind of a very drawn out team fight. And he's got a pretty huge wave that's pushing in on our inhib. So Nasus at this point in the game has got 384 stacks, and he's pretty tanky, so we don't want to try and fight him one-on-one. That's a very risky play. We're going to try and fight him 2v2. Or sorry, 2v1. So you can see how much damage Nasus can do. But Cassiopeia is one of the highest DPS targets in the game. Gragas is able to escape here. I move into assist, get the flay on. Alright, I don't understand this body slam by Gragas. Nasus has got his ult up, and his ult does AoE damage around him. So if you go anywhere near Nasus when you're that low health, you're gonna die. So Gragas should have definitely just backed out. But we're able to get the kill on Nasus, we just kind of gang up on him because the rest of his team is dead. And this whole time, Callista is, because their entire team is dead except for Nasus, Callista's just pushing in on their tier 2. So yeah, Nasus got our top tier 2, but we're going to get their bottom tier 2. So, very good job by Callista, pushing multiple objectives. So now the name of the game is really trying to get lane dominance, right? Get all the lanes pushing in your favor so that if you have a team fight that's favorable for you, then you can rotate to an objective like Baron. So Irelia is doing a good job getting this lane pushed out. Callista was pushing out the lane. We're getting wards all around their blue side jungle. But yeah, good job by Irelia not overcommitting, right? Because she's only got this one pink ward, and we don't really have that much vision on the rest of their team. So you can see, top lane was pushed out, mid lane's pushed out, bot lane's pushed out. That's exactly what we want. It gives us control over the center of the map, so we can take dragons, we can take barons. Alright, so Callista's kind of caught out right now, and she gets grabbed. So when this happens, we know that Graves was bot lane, so I should immediately have called for a TP from Irelia to this ward. So that way we could have engaged in a 5v4. And then the other thing is try to throw my lantern out. But it's very hard to grab this lantern when there's so many people around you. Definitely a good barrel by Gragas just to try and knock him around. But this entire time I should be calling for the TP, and I'm not. We're kind of in an unfair fight. Yeah, we get the kill on Ezreal, but this is a really tough fight for us. So I use my Flay to try and disengage. And Cassiopeia gets her ult off, which is very good. But Nasus does so much damage, especially to squishy targets. Be able to get the kill on. And then this is when the teleport comes in. After, you know, 4 of the team die, then the teleport comes in. So that's definitely a bad call by me. I should have been calling for that teleport way earlier. But also, I really could have had a little bit better map awareness to realize, oh crap, these guys really need a teleport even if they're not asking for it. So that teleport from Aurelia causes them to back off because Aurelia is getting pretty huge right now, 5-2. Alright, so definitely a bad team fight by our part. If your teammates get caught out like that, sometimes the best option is to just let them die and just play defensive until they respawn. Alright, Nasus is playing pretty aggressive, so we're going to try and get some damage on him. So, we know Nami's bot lane. We don't have eyes on Skarner. But we're all going mid. So we know that we're going to be at least a 5v4, possibly a 5v3. So we want this fight. So I land my hook onto Ezreal. I didn't go for Nasus, I wanted to go for the Ezreal. Because it doesn't really matter if we land this hook on Nasus, because he's just so tanky. But if we land the hook on Ezreal, that's a huge, huge grab for us. So we almost instant pop Ezreal. You can see how much damage freaking Nasus does. It's just ridiculous. But I really does a good job going on to Graves, right? She's able to get the solo kill on him, and the rest of our team, the entire rest of our team, needs to focus down the Nasus, and I'm able to barely escape. So we push out this wave right here, so that they have to try and defend it, right? They think that we're going to take mid, and then we're going to rotate for Baron, right? Because death timers are pretty long now, and we are in a 5v2 scenario, so Baron's definitely the right call. So always look for those opportunities to get a Baron. Like if they have 2 people who are defending the tower, and it's going to be kind of hard for you to take it, especially if it's a high health tower, go for something like a Baron or a Dragon. So they try to do a steal, but yeah, not going to work. So that team fight allows us to get Baron, and now we have a pretty dominating control of this game. You know, we're over 2k gold up, and we can push pretty hard. So we all try to recall, but Skarner's going to try and stop our backs, which is, I guess that's a good play, but he needs to have some support. You never want to go in by yourself. If Nami came down to help or something like that, then that would have been a better play. But he's going to go for Gragas. So yeah, I tried to do my Flay, but he flashes my Flay, so that was good anticipation from him. And then he uses his ult on Gragas. But we're able to get the kill onto Skarner before he can actually get the kill onto Gragas. So now it's in a 5v4 and we have Baron. So that's even better for us. Alright, I'll back up because Aurelia's just going crazy right now. So Aurelia's 7-2 and she's just terrifying. So you see how she dashes to a minion, and because she kills the minion, it automatically resets her cooldown. And even though Ezreal, it's an Ezreal. Ezreal is fantastic at getting away. He uses his arcane shift, but she can still just dash onto him again, slow him. He tries to flash, and she still catches up to him and just completely destroys him. So now we're in a 5v3, which puts us in a fantastic position. So this is why you do not want to have somebody get kills on an Irelia. So we see that Nasus is pushing bot lane pretty hard, so that pretty much gives us a free mid tower. We actually pick up Nami as well. And our plan here is we're going to have our 3 fed players push mid as hard as we can. And then our Gragas and our Thresh, because Gragas has some wave clear, we can kind of delay this Nasus. Because our inhibitor turret is full health, so we think we can just hold him off by ourselves. Actually, Graves got a really good kill on Kalista because she was low health. So this is an interesting flash by Kalista, gets the stun off, avoids the ult by Ezreal. Get a lot of damage on Graves, get the kill on him. So Kalista kind of overstays, right? She's moving back and forth rather than just moving back the entire time. And she dies. But we were right that Graves and Thresh were able to hold off Nasus, prevent him from taking the inhib. So we actually ended up getting a lot more damage on their inhib, and they got no damage on our inhib because of that play. So we're not in a position to really contest this dragon. They definitely have control. What we are in a position to do is to take right. So anytime their whole team is on one side of the map, we're going to try and push a cross-map objective. So me and Irelia are going to come up and just hard push this top lane as hard as we can. And I tell Gragas to try and steal it if you can, but don't die. That's the most important thing, don't die. But, alright, that was fantastic, right? He body slams in, uses his ult to push them away when Dragon is within his smite range, smites the Dragon for the steal, and then he just flashes out. That was perfectly done. That's exactly how you do a steal like that. So that was a fantastic play by him. And now they're in all sorts of trouble, right? Because they're all bot lane. And now we can just push top lane really, really hard. So I'm getting as many wards up as I can, all on top side. So that way I really can just keep pushing this lane as hard as she wants. And she's not worried about their team rotating to her. So yeah, this is a huge wave. Baron empowered minions. Great ward by Irelia as well. Alright, so Skarner comes up. He thinks it's going to be a 2v1 for them, and then we actually turn it into a 2v1 for us because Graves is not in position. So CC, Irelia gets her slow off. I land the hook, and it's pretty much an easy kill for us. So now Graves is in a 2v1 under tower with Baron empowered minions. So he's actually doing a pretty good job trying to clear, but Irelia at this point is 9-2. Just the threat of her diving him is just terrifying, right? There's somebody that fed, so he's got to back off. He's got to respect the fact that she could kill him at any moment. Good dodge as well by Irelia. So we're able to get that tier 2 tower. So we get 2 towers because they went for this dragon, and we actually steal the dragon as well. So we get 2 towers and a dragon for pretty much for free, and we also killed Skarner as well. So yeah, good job, Bass. And then meanwhile, Nasus is doing what he does best, which is split push. And so Cassiopeia sets a trap for him, and Kalista comes around. This is actually a great ult by Cassiopeia, because one more Q from Nasus and she probably would have died. So we're able to get the kill on Nasus, and now we can push bot lane really hard, right? So we got those 2 towers top lane, and they rotate to top lane to try and stop us or slow us down. I mean, then we actually set a trap from here. I'll back this up. This is actually really good too. So we get these 2 towers. They rotate top to try and, you know, punish us. We set a trap for them here. Land the hook onto Graves. Pretty much kill him almost instantaneously. And then Irelia, just really strong. Land my hook. It will get another kill onto Irelia. And this whole time that they're preoccupied with top lane, our two best wave clearers, Callista and Cassiopeia, are pushing bot lane, which allows us to get a really easy inhibitor. And they really can't contest this right now. But so as soon as Nasus comes up, right, we have a pretty good sense of their death timers. So as soon as the rest of their team starts to respawn, we're going to back out. And we're going to take all of their jungle as we leave to try and put them further behind. So that's what you want to do. Anytime you take an objective, you don't want to overstay for their team to respawn, because then their team will engage on you and your lower health. So you take the objective, and when the objective is taken, you back out, steal all their jungle camps, and then ward up their jungle as well. Alright, so now we've got a pretty sizable gold lead, right? 9k gold lead, 30 minutes in, and we're rotating better than they are. We've got more towers taken. So we're kind of in a little bit of a lull period here, just kind of posturing. So, Callista's kind of pushing up, so you can see that they're kind of rotating towards mid. They want to do this mid-team fight. That's what they're looking for. Alright, so we kind of start going in on them. Dealing a little bit of damage. Alright, so I'm going to start slowing right now because the TP comes in from Nasus. So they're trying to get a 5v4 on us. Nasus is flanking us. So this is kind of a bad spot for us. We want to try and delay at this point until I really can get to the fight. So Callista's kind of a little bit too far forward, so she has to burn her flash. But you can see how we're all pushing up towards Irelia. We're waiting for Irelia to show up so we can make this a 5v5. And as soon as she shows up, so my goal in these fights is just to zone Nasus. This is a fantastic ult by Gragas to get Graves forward so we can focus Grave. Callista saves me, and then I ult back in, and my goal was actually to hit the Graves because that's our target. But he's able to escape. So we're going to turn on to Nasus right now. Their team is focusing Cassiopeia, but she does a good job using her Seraphs to stay alive long enough for us to kill Nasus and then turn on to Skarner. So Cassiopeia uses her ult and it actually stuns Nami, and this is a great follow-up by Gragas to get a chain stun onto Nami so we can get an easy kill. Meanwhile, Callista does great work on Skarner to get that kill onto Skarner. And then now we're going to turn on to Graves. And that's a pretty easy kill for Irelia to get onto Graves because she's just ridiculously fed. Oh, and I do a bad job there. I steal the kill. Don't want to do that as support. So that was a 4 for 0. That was a fantastically played team fight. Great focus firing. Right, we went for the Graves, that was our goal, but he was able to escape, so we immediately transitioned to the easiest target, which was Nasus. Get Nasus knocked down, then we transitioned to Skarner and Nami, able to get the kills on them by using effective CC, and then we were able to get a 4th kill onto Graves. So that team fight was perfect, and that team fight is what's going to allow us to win this game, because now we have a commanding lead. So you can see how powerful it really is. Dashes to a minion, dashes again, gets the slow on, and we get the ace. So we get turret, get the inhib. Alright, now Baron's about 30 seconds away, right? And their death timers are about 10 seconds. that's not enough for us to get a lot of damage onto their Nexus towers, and our top lane is not pushed up far enough for us to rotate to this top inhib. So we're gonna rotate back to Baron, right? So we're gonna ward up their jungle, get their entire red side jungle warded up, so there's no way that they can get close without us knowing about it. I scan Baron Pit to make sure that there's no ward for them to try and see us going for Baron for an Ezreal steal, and then this becomes a really easy Baron for us. And this entire time, Irelia, who's our most fed person on our team, is just hiding in this bush, waiting for somebody to come close, because she can pretty much insta-kill anybody if they from the bush with that surprise gank. So pretty easy Baron right now, and then Skarner's really far pushed up, so Irelia's just going to rotate onto him. He's going to try and escape, but pretty much our whole team is going to rotate onto him. There's not much he can do. Land the stun, and that's all she wrote. So because Skarner was so far pushed up, he was trying to get some pressure, trying to get the wave pushing, but that was a huge mistake by him, and now it's a 5v4 when we have Baron. So you can see their team is actually posturing to kind of go for Dragon, which is, that's a very risky decision, because it's a 5v4, right? And we've got Baron. So definitely don't like that decision on their part. But Nami gets kind of caught out here. Great jump over the wall by Kalista, and we're able to get the kill onto Nami. So now it's a 5v3. So you can see right here, Graves is trying to recall after he gets Scuttle Crab, but we're able to catch him. So I throw out my hook, land my hook, land the flay, waiting for my team to arrive, land the box. We get the box and the slow, and then that was kind of overkill. We didn't really need to use explosive cast on that. Now this becomes an easy dragon for us. And you can see, like, we're using 4 people to clear dragon, but this entire time Irelia is clearing out top lane, because our goal, right, is to, you know, get the base. So our goal is to try and get these towers, the Nexus towers, but if they try to defend these Nexus towers, then we're just going to push up top and take their third inhibitor. So bot lane inhibitor is about to come back up again, so Kalista rotates to bot lane inhibitor to clear that out, and meanwhile Irelia keeps getting pressure up on their top lane. So we keep that inhibitor down, so we keep the super minions up, and we continue to push in. Our minions are doing a fantastic job right now, but they try to go in for an all-in here, and we're able to get the kill onto Nasus. Skarner uses his ult on me, which is kind of poor play on his part, and we're able to pretty much wipe their entire team. So that's the end of the game. Pretty commanding victory for us, but it didn't start off very well, right? We were behind for a good portion of the game, and so we'll go over what exactly we did good and what exactly we did bad. So for our top laner, really didn't use teleport to impact the team fights. I don't think she used teleport once the entire game to try and change a team fight, and that's also my fault, but it's also, you know, you're the one who's got teleport, so definitely call it out like, hey, do you need a teleport or something like that. What she did very well was she just had a ridiculous CS, right? 253 CS, highest CS in the game on both teams, so really good job there. And she did a really great job with Irelia's kit. She did a lot of dashing to a minion to get the auto, to get the reset, and then dashing to the person. Pretty much carried the team towards the end, went 11, 2, and 6. Just fantastic job. So jungler, what he did bad was had a rough early game, right? Went for that invade that went very poorly. Good idea, but poorly executed. Fell behind in levels, fell behind in gold a little bit. He started to catch up towards mid game, and then also one of the things he did was he took a couple kills that he didn't need to take. Right? He could have given a couple other kills to our carries, um, which really would have helped us snowball the game a little bit faster. Um, just because if you're a tank, you don't really need the gold. It's much cheaper to build defense than it is to build offense. That's why you want to get those gold onto those carries. So if we'd gotten a few more kills onto Callista or onto the Cassiopeia, because they both had 15 assists in this game, so a few more kills onto them, and we would have snowballed even earlier. What the jungler did really good though was great use of the Gragas ult. Just had very huge impact in team fights, and then that Dragon Steel towards the end of the game was beautiful to watch. That was perfect. So very good job there. For our mid, he definitely rotated a bit better than the last game we played with him, but he got caught out a lot. And that indicates to me that he doesn't have very good map awareness. He's not watching the mini map as often as he should. So one way that he could really improve is you want to keep your CS up, but you also need to have your eyes moving to the mini map every once in a while. It's kind of like driving a car. You still want to be looking at your rearview mirrors every once in a while, and that's what the mini map provides. It's that rearview mirror check to make sure that you're not going to get blindsided. But what he did good was great CS, 219 CS, very good job. He had a lead pretty much most of the game with that CS. And yeah, if he starts working on his map awareness, he's going to start dominating. Because the only way that Ezreal was able to stay in that game was Skarner was ganking for him all the time. For our ADC, he was way behind in CS for pretty much most of the game compared to their ADC. And also he had less CS than our mid laner and our top laner for pretty much the entire game as well. So that early game CS he needs to work on. But what he did good was he had a huge impact in team fights. Like as the game went on, he got better and better and better, and used his ult really, really well. I didn't use it very well, but he used it very well, and that kind of ties into the next point. What I did poorly was I did not make good use of Callista's ult, and then on top of that, just like the last game, I need to work on my shot calling for calling out targets in team fights and calling out when we need the teleport. That last team fight we did was fantastic, and I think we did a really good job with that. But some of the other fights, I could have done a much better job calling out which target to go after. However, what I did good was I landed a lot of hooks. I landed a lot of really critical hooks in team fights, and I did a pretty dang good job trying to keep my team alive. I think I saved Cassiopeia and Gragas on multiple occasions. I think I saved Callista at least once as well. So, pretty happy with that. My goal in the team fights was to zone Nasus because he's just a complete beast, and I think I did a really good job with that. Just zoning him out of the fights, making sure that he couldn't get onto the carries. So, for bad for our team is that our wave management was still kind of poor in like the early to mid games. It got better as the game went on, but we fell behind in the early game because they were able to be more effective at wave control and pushing down towers. However, what we did really well is our team fighting got a lot better as the game went on. Every single team fight, we learned from our mistakes and we got better, and we snowballed each team fight even harder. And then we also did a really great job with the ward coverage we had. We identified movements of the enemy team and collapsed on them very quickly. So we were able to get numbers advantages and able to get a lot of extra kills, which got us a pretty huge gold lead in like the mid to late game. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you learned something from it. And remember, if you're looking for a team, we've got a great team. So definitely check out the link in the description portion of this game. And this is Randomonium signing off.